Good morning. On the road again. We are back at it with another video, and I am here to record for you a conversation that can help you or somebody you may know. So like, share, and subscribe to all my channels. I will be posting this video to all of my social medias, including YouTube. So let's get into the conversation today. Conversation on the road, since I'm by myself anyway. So what's on the docket is time travelers. Time travelers are very real, and I'll tell you the type of time traveler I'm talking about. I'm talking about the emotional memory manipulator. Okay, this is a person that constantly take in information that you give them, the constant information that you show them in the past that you have already done. Maybe you didn't cheat. Maybe you just acted very promiscuous and they held that against you. They held that over your head. Trust me, it is something. It is very much something when you're dealing with somebody that manipulates you through either certain facts, twisting them around, or something that you have given them, such as, pillow talk, conversations, memories that you may have had of your past that they were never there for, by the way. And it's just that they want to use that against you in any type of situation. And it's like, I'm telling you this, I'm being vulnerable with you, and you're using it against me. And then there's the ones that's just, they may have something on you because you may have had a friend of a friend, and they know about a situation that you were involved in. And they want to use it against you. Like I said, twisting the words, twisting the narrative to their liking. Trying to gain control over you. Maybe you were that person that was promiscuous. Maybe you were that person that used to cheat. Maybe you were married at one point and you were messing with them, and they want to hold it above your head. But they still entertain a relationship with you. They entertain a connection. They entertain convenience. I was watching a snippet video. Sometimes you get on social media and you see some messy stuff. And, Christian Rock, she's been all over the place for a couple years now. Her and Blueface, back and forth. And we've been watching them unfold in their relationship and their ongoing mess for so long. And honestly, I feel like she's going through a lot of karma because of what she done to that Jaden girl. Now that we got the full, now that we got the full story on what it was, hey, it is what it is. And you think, just because you tattoo a man on your body, that's going to make it even better. When reality of it is, he knew that you were green. Now, like I said, this ain't no judgment for her, because, she's already going through her own judgment. That's the spiritual side of everything. You go through your own shit, but the world is invited. So that's what it is. I just wish we were just out of the chat box. I wish we were out of the group chat with this. But for an example, she was on a live stream the other day. She was on the phone with Blueface, Purple Face, whatever he is, and he happens to be incarcerated right now. He happens to be in jail. And the conversation was about her being on social media. He don't want her on social media. And so he's just telling her all this stuff, and like, this man is in jail. And he has full control over this girl. He has full control over the way she thinks, how she breathes, what she's doing. And she's on live stream listening to this. You can see it in her face. She's just like, she's convincing herself that she is like, she's okay. But at the same time inside, she's like, I did something wrong again. I did bad to daddy type shit. And I'm like, wow, I feel for her sometimes. But then sometimes I'm like, okay, now you asked for this one. And that's what manipulated relationships with a narcissist or any type of like person that's a master manipulator. That's what they do to you. Is they convince you that they are the only ones that have a say-so. And they may convince you that you are to submit to them. That's how you should submit, is allowing them to manipulate you into thinking that you have no conscience of your own. You have no mind. You have no control. You can't think for yourself. They will convince you of that. And if you are convinced, if you are green, or if you're the type of person that can be convinced of that, then that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying you're weak. I'm saying that you are passionate about loving somebody that's taking advantage of you, that's playing you like a puppet. This type of person doesn't look at love as a genuine act. They look at love as an opportunity to gain in some way, shape, or form. And they will breadcrumb you along the way in order to do so. And if you do them wrong out of being rebellious, I say, I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying a lot of times when you do them wrong, it's out of a rebellious state. Say, for example, you break up, but they say you're on a break. Oh, this happened to me several times, honey, when they say you on a break, but they really break up with you. And I'm like, okay. When I said that final, like, okay, cool, I'm done with you and I'm not coming back. When I said I'm done with you, not coming back, they try to play this manipulative mind game. Like, all you want to do is run away from me. All you want to do is leave. And it's not the case. It's not that nobody wants to run away. Nobody wants to leave. But you keep doing this tug of war type thing. I'm not entertaining it anymore. I have control. I'm taking back my control. I'm taking back my love. Love is infinite and I can create more of it. I don't need your permission to do so. Once you do that return to sender, once you do that release, it's over. It is over. I command my release, honey. You don't. And so, but some people stay in this cycle. Okay? When I was young, when I was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, I was green as hell. Okay? I gave people 10 more gains. I'll explain that in another video. Ooh, man, I was green. Then, as I got older, I was like, nah, I ain't doing that shit no more. Leave me alone. But, you know, that's what they do to you. They will convince you have no rights. They will convince you that you have no mind of your own. They will convince you to be disposable and make sure you have enough supply for more. And if you don't, or if you get too tired, I'm going to go use somebody else. But you better stay where you're at. Just in case if I run across somebody strong enough to walk away from me, I'll at least have you as my little play toy, my little pin cushion. My emotional punching bag. And that's what Krishan Rock is. That's exactly what some of you men and women are. And like I said, I feel for it sometimes, but then there's other times where I'm like, The crazy thing is there are many women out there that like to trap men like that. And that's the honest truth. Some of y'all think that giving this person a baby will change this person. No, that's just giving y'all more, that's giving them more chain to you. That's giving them more of a leash. That gives them more ammunition because they're going to attack your parenthood. And there's women out there that are just like this, but they do it in a different way. They do it in the emotional manipulation versus the logical out-of-life manipulation. It's still similar in a way, but I'll have to explain that in another video, baby. But in this case, you know, you got to be careful. You got to be more careful than that. But after the phone call, going back to the subject of that, she got off the phone call and she tried to convince her. She's like, everything's okay. She was doing this swirl. Everything's okay. And then she realized, not just realized, but she acknowledged that, you see how I try to convince myself? She said that out loud on the live. And I'm looking at her like, I see that, but are you moving? Are you getting out the way? You know, you'll go through so many wins and losses in these situations, but why not win, baby? Why not take the time to win? Stop all that little time traveling, going back in the time when everything was good. Stop going back in the time when everything was easy peasy. That was the trap, baby. That was the trap. And they make it out like they want you to think about those times so it keep gassing you. That's the breadcrumb right there. Because when it's time for you to get angry, they're like, I just missed the good times. Then you become the very person that they hate, which is themselves. Yes. Narcissist individuals most likely hate themselves. In most cases that I have seen, that I have read, in my spiritual journey, I've read for them, most of them hate themselves. So when they see that you're mirroring them, they don't like what they see. So they have to move on to the next person. They are running from themselves constantly. That's exactly what it is. And then you're left shaken up, insane. And the thing is like, a lot of people don't see it, but when you are emotionally manipulated, that is internal abuse. That's just like taking a couple blows to the head, because you got gangrene of the brain right there. You start to break your body down, and when you are mentally unstable, your mind cannot support the body properly with the proper hormones, because you're so stressed out, you're so sad, you're running off of one energy all the time, you're imbalanced, and so your body reacts to the imbalance, and you look stressed, you look sick all the time, your voice is hoarse, your heartbeat is out of rhythm. Half the time you wake up, your body is aching because you are so traumatized internally, and your spirit is constantly fighting for its life. Really, your spirit is constantly trying to break away, and that detachment that your spirit is trying to do is hurting your physical body. And so that's what it looks like when you're dealing with somebody that constantly bounces back and forth, because what they do is they take energy in different parts of y'all's relationship, and that's why I call them the time travelers, because they will go into snippets and they look for supply. And if they don't have supply in the moment, say it's been 2 months, y'all been pretty good in your eyes. Everything's been good because it's been quiet. And in your mind, you're like, oh, well, it's good. It is good. But then you turn around and realize that it's only good because they already have another supply lined up. It's only good because they're looking for reasons. And if they don't have reasons, they're going to go back and they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm still scarred about this situation. They're not really scarred. They don't really care, because they know they fucking around anyway. Excuse my language. Excuse my French. But that's just a little snippet of the conversation. That's just a little snippet of what it is. But for those of you, like I said, you could be a man or a woman that is a victim of this mentality. And like I said, if you're one of those individuals that have dealt with somebody that's like this, like I said, for women that are manipulators, they will do it emotionally. And if you have a child with this woman, oh, honey, I'm praying for you. 9 times out of 10, if you have a child with this person, she is campaigning against you to make you look like the worst parent ever, because she knew what it was when y'all got together, when y'all had the child. If you're an inexperienced father or don't know what to do, the best thing to do is communicate this with the family and her, if you can. Try to gather your strength and try to make sure, like, everybody knows, like, hey, I've never experienced I've never envisioned a father figure in my life, and I would like to do what I can to be a good father. And make sure you verbally campaign for yourself, and make sure you let these people know that's around what it is. Because what's going to happen is, if you're one of them shy, quiet types that's private, it's going to be a lot more easier to believe. Instead of you being, I'm just saying, you're going to have to come out of your shell to make sure that you are your own hero, especially for your children. Especially for your own children. If you can't do it for yourself, you need to gather your strength as a father to do it for your kids. That's the only advice I can give you. I don't know who needs to hear this, but baby, it's going to be a hard road for a man. It's a hard road for a man to get their kids, especially if you have a narcissistic female mother that is campaigning against you and also abusing the child at the same time. Because 9 times out of 10, if she's doing it by herself and she can't go back and forth because she's campaigning against you so much, so she can't make herself to look like a liar. But she's intellectual. She's very intelligent about her moves. So she's going to have to make it look like she's doing it all by herself. She's going to have to make it look like she's, like you're a deadbeat. And that's what she's doing. I know good and well. Y'all ain't out here on the bikes they ride bikes out here on the weekends. And so when you hit a blind spot, you got to really watch for these suckers out here on the two-wheel paddler roads. That's what you got to do. Hold on, let me turn this on. All right, back to it. But yeah, if you're a father dealing with a manipulative, narcissistic baby's mother, ex-wife, or whatever that happens to be a mother of your children, you're going to have to campaign for yourself. You're going to have to speak up. Stop being quiet. Stop being uncomfortable. Don't be a fucking coward. You're going to have to show people that you're a good person. You're a stand-up person, and you're there for the children. And do not go back and forth arguing with this woman, because what that's going to do is that's going to assist in her with the children, especially if she can prove that you are verbally abusive. You may cuss, you may do all this extra stuff, you may call this person a dummy. Don't be doing that dumb shit, okay? Do not fall into the trap because you get angry. What you need to do is you need to repeat the statement over and over again, so then the courts or whoever can know that this person is just, they going out their way to do whatever. Just keep repeating the statements like, hey, you know, I would like to see my children on this day, this day, this day. You know, get a parenting plan in place and keep that parenting plan fresh. And then only speak about the children. That person needs money. Make sure you keep up with the receipts on everything that you've given, everything this person has accepted, and keep going from there. Because if they're able to manipulate you and make it look like you ain't nothing, 9 times out of 10, they're going to do it through your money. They're going to do it through the children. They're going to do it through their people. So I know I done got way off the subject of manipulation, but like I said, I just want to let y'all know that there are women that are narcissistic that do this, and 9 times out of 10 she's going to trap you with a baby or some kind of contract or some kind of creative endeavor, and that's what she's going to do, to use it against you just to keep you around. And I'm not saying that narcissistic women are more loyal, but I will say narcissistic women are more, they're more strategic. They're more sketched out. You know, they got their ducks in a row. Most of the ones that I have read for, that I have seen, they are very convincing. They are. They really are. And they play that victim card, that mental victim card. Especially nowadays, they play it very well. It's very rare that I get a man that is a victim of that, because a lot of men don't speak. But like I said, it's one of those things. It is one of those things. And that, you know, there ain't nothing wrong with, you know, seeking guidance and seeking help. But you got to take accountability. If you have family members that you don't mess with, and you isolate yourself and depend on a relationship thinking that you're fixing somebody and they're fixing you, that's 9 times out of 10, that's going to fail. Some cases. Because, I mean, you try to create your own family with somebody that has all these, that's just spoiled. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know why I channeled that, but somebody needed to hear it. And I hope the best, baby. But you got to come out your shell, and you need to stop being so quiet. You need to campaign for yourself, and you need to just, you know, don't be aggressive. Don't be verbally abusive or come off verbally abusive. Stick with the statements. I want to see my children. I have this for my children. And keep the receipts. Do not fall into the traps and allowing this person to talk bad to you. And be like, hey, you know, I'm not being abusive towards you. I would suggest that you not do this to me. And you are allowed to block their cell phone number in this case and continue through a third-party emailing thing, because a lot of people do it. There's different ways you can definitely communicate with this person, and that's where a parenting plan comes in. You have to have mediation with this person because they cannot stop being abusive, and that'll help you in this case, baby, because 9 times out of 10, if she's abusive on the phone with you and being extra on the phone with you, she's going to be abusive to the children. That's just what it is. But you gonna have to walk around eggshells because this person is very intelligent. But baby, I went on almost a 20-minute rant with that one. I hope the best. That's the end of this video. But like I said, manipulators, they can convince you otherwise. Stick to your guns. Stick to a fixed communication. Stick to the subject. Don't go off on memory lane. Stick to the subject, because they want to try to win. That's the goal. They want to try to win an argument, a conversation. They want to gain something out of it, and that means some kind of victory energy, no matter what it is. It could be good or bad. they want to have some kind of victory energy. 9 times out of 10, when it was a cupcake phase, they did the same thing, but a different energy. But that's a different video. Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe. Love you guys.